Hello everyone, my name is Tiffany Garcia and I'm a librarian at the San Jose Public Library. Today we will be making a couple of cards for Father's Day. These are suggestions for fathers or father figures and could go along with any gift you make or give him. To make the shirt card, you will need two colored pieces of paper, one for the tie and one for the shirt, and a white piece of paper which you will use for the card itself. Now for this activity, I will be using a green sheet for my shirt. If you decide to use another color for the shirt, go ahead and grab it now. So right now I am aligning the card over the shirt color construction paper because I'm going to be folding it now, and that will help me mark it. If you use a pencil, you can trace the card, but I decided to just fold it over. That way I mark it where it ends. And now I'm going to cut the piece off. And I'm going to keep the right side for now and use that as my shirt. And right now I'm just going to align it to make sure I like it, because once I paste it on, I will not be able to remove it. So just make sure it's not sticking out on the sides or anything. And so now I'm folding over the top part because I want to leave about 2 inches of white space on top. About 2 inches. And that's going to make the collar visible later. So I am just going to go ahead and cut this extra piece off. That way it will show about 2 inches of the card itself, the white part. Now that I see how it's going to look, I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. If you can make sure to add glue all around the edges, that will be enough. I mean, if you can, go ahead and add some glue to the center as well. And so now I'm going to go ahead and place it on, but I'm going to start on one side. So I'm going to start from the bottom and align it there first, and then start smoothing it out towards the top, because later on you won't be able to remove it easily. So start from the bottom and go all the way to the top, and then spread it out, smooth it out. Now we're going to start working on the tie. So here I'm going to go ahead and use yellow construction paper for the tie. If you're using another color, go ahead and grab it. And now I'm going to measure 3 inches. I want a strip of 3 inches thick. The length doesn't really matter as long as it's gonna fit on your card, on the front of your card. So probably about 5 inches. But remember, you're going to see it later and you'll be able to cut it shorter if you like. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is fold it in. So it's going to be about 1.5 inch fold there. Just folding it in there. But I'm going to cut out the whole 3 inches out. So following this line here, cutting it out. And now starting with the closed side, I'm going to cut a triangle, a short one right there. See, I just cut a little bit. And now I'm going to start going diagonal long ways. And this will be the long part of the tie. I'm going to make this a little thinner actually. So I'll go a little more in. See. And now I just have this little tie right here. And you may notice the top part is sharp. That's okay. So I'm going to use what's left of that sheet I was using, the strip I used to cut out the tie, and cut out a triangle, but notice I'm doing this from the closed side. I'm gonna make this a little ovally triangle in a way, because that's gonna be the knot of the tie. And as you see here, it's going to go inside the collar here. So I'm just aligning it, trying to make it even, and that's what it's going to look like when I'm done. And now I'm going to start gluing these little pieces together. So now I'm adding some glue on the edges, both inside and outside. So it's going to be on both sides here, because I'm going to slip this into the collar. And so now adding some glue also to the collar itself, and now I'm going to slip it in here. And to get this flap closed, I'm going to add some glue, and not in the center, but just on the sides where the collar is going to fold over. And now positioning the tie, you see that we don't need that extra top there, because it's going to go underneath the yellow knot that's already in the collar. So I'm adding some glue on the bottom there, and I'm going to go ahead and slip this in. It's going inside, and now just press it in place, and as you see here, going to go on top. So I'm going to add some glue onto the back of the collar now, because now I'm ready to position it onto the card all together. And now I'm going to go ahead and press it right in the center. And as you see, it's all together, but I'm going to go ahead and press it down. I need to make sure it's all smooth, so I just turn it over and press down all around the card. And now it's done. So now I can go ahead and write message on the tie, or simply write a message inside for Father's Day. Now we are going to work on our next Father's Day card. For this card, you will need 3 colors of construction paper, white paper, scissors, pencil, and glue. For the card itself, I will be using this black paper, and this will be the handprint. So I'm going to fold this in half. Try to make sure it's even all around. Now I'm going to want my pointer and my thumb on the closed side of the card, but I'm right-handed. So to do this, I'm actually going to flip my card over and use my left hand. So now you can see my pointer and my thumb on the right side, on the closed side of the card. This is going to be the back side, but that's okay, because once we turn it over, it's going to look like it's my right hand. So now I'm going to position it and make sure your pointer finger and your thumb are close to the edge. And now tracing it all the way around, all over my fingers, tracing my hand, my entire hand. Now you may not be able to see my hand yourself, but it is visible enough for me. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Now try to keep the card even and folded, because it may shift a little bit as you're cutting your hand trace out. And so I'm cutting. Now remember, you're keeping parts of the card attached so that it stays together. So I'm cutting out the thumb part, and I left a little bit connected so that the card stays together. Now cutting out my pointed finger. And again, I left a little bit attached so that once I open up the card, it will be together still. Now I'm starting to cut my middle finger here. Now my ring finger. And last, my pinky. And now I'm going to finish trimming my hand out. Still continuing with the traced line. So if I kept those two fingers, the thumb and pointer, together, then you see it's all together. The whole card is still together. And I can actually fold it over if I want to avoid any lines, but I did a pretty good job here, so I'm going to keep it the way it was. And now I am going to use my brown paper here. You can use any color you like. This is going to be the face part of the hand. So I'm cutting out the forehead, you can say, of the hand. That's going to look like a forehead to the person on the hand. So I may have to do this a couple of times just to make sure it goes evenly around. I'm going to try to connect it to all of the finger parts here. Now that the brown paper is touching all of the beginning parts of the fingers, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the rest of this here. I will be trimming this down, but now I am going to make sure that I see all of the fingers. So to do that, I'm going to flip it over as you see here, and now I'm going to start tracing once I can see all of the fingers. The thumb may not be entirely visible, but just enough. So here I'm tracing it out the brown paper. And now I'm going to cut out the traced part here. So you might want to cut inside the line, because if you cut outside the line, it's going to be sticking out from the rest of the card. So if you're worried, go ahead inside the line. And here I'm cutting out the inside arch of my thumb. So here I'm just putting it over to see what it's going to look like before I glue that on. Using what's left of my black construction paper, I have it folded still. I'm just cutting off right now the excessive pieces to get it out of my way, because I'm going to be cutting out what's going to look like a comma. So cutting half a mustache looks kind of like a bold, thick comma. So you can copy me here to make a mustache, or you can make your own. But here we go. So after I unfolded it, it's a nice mustache. Now getting my white paper, I'm using printer paper here. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out eyeballs. So it's going to be the white part of my eyeballs here. Just cutting a little strip here, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half and cut out a big circle. Look, it will look like an eyeball. No part of this will be attached once I'm done. It will just end up making two eyeballs, see? To make the black pupils, I'm going to go ahead and grab some construction paper here, just a big enough piece, and then fold it in half. It's going to be much smaller than the white eyeballs I just cut out, so it's just going to be tiny little pieces. Again, these are going to be my pupils, and no part of these circles are going to be attached, because I'm going to go separately. It depends on you how you want to make these pupils go. It could be silly, looking at someone. For example, look how they look like they're looking at someone. You can put them cross-eyed like this as a little joke. For me, I'm just going to make them look straight. Now I'm going to grab my glue stick and start gluing these together. Now that I have the pupils connected to the eyeball, I'm going to start gluing the eyeballs onto the hand here. So that the mustache doesn't get caught too much, I will be trying to keep the ends inside. It may go a little out on the right side, but I'm going to curl the left side of the mustache towards the thumb side. And to now make a bow tie, I'm just going to use a little part here, maybe about an inch thick, just an estimation. I'm folding this page in half here because I'm going to just cut a little strip here, make it a little easy. And now, keeping it folded, I'm cutting half the bow tie. So it's going from the closed side to the outside. And then going inwards again, kind of like a triangle, but keeping it thick in the center, the top part of the triangle. And as you see here, this is going to be the bow tie like this. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my glue stick and glue mainly this center area. Can't really glue the edges because otherwise it will be going outside of the card and start sticking to things. So just mainly the center here. And position it, make sure the mustache is not going to be underneath the bow tie. I'm going to go ahead and get a black marker and just mark the center. It's going to look like the knot of the bow tie here. In order to write inside the card, you will want to make it white inside. So to do that, you will want your white piece of paper and just place it inside. But you're going to flip it over and trace it, kind of like what we did for the brown paper. We're going to go ahead and trace out white paper here. I don't really need the thumb so much, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the thumb part of the trace. And just matching it up just to make sure it's gonna look right once I glue it on. It does, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my glue stick and glue the white paper and place it over the inside part of the black hand here. And now we're done making it. Now you'll have a chance to go ahead and write a message. I would recommend using a marker for this. So just write a little message, maybe just a happy Father's Day, or maybe something more personal inside. And now you're all done making Father's Day cards. Thank you for joining me in the Sounds Lake Public Library. Please take a few minutes to fill out our program survey. For a complete list of other virtual programs, please visit sjpl.org/virtual programs. Also, don't forget to follow us at San Jose Library on Facebook and sign up for their newsletter at sjpl.org/e-newsletter to stay informed of all things SJPL. Have a great day.